Hello everyone, this is Rabbitearsblog, and last time I reviewed Joss Whedon's run on Astonishing X-Men and reviewed the first volume Gifted. Now I'm reviewing the second volume titled Dangerous. Now before I get into what I loved and hated about this volume, I would like to give a brief summary on this volume. With Colossus back on the team, the X-Men now try to become superheroes like the Fantastic Four and the Avengers. But this doesn't stop the media from making the X-Men seem like the bad guys like usual, since they are mutants. Why the X-Men watch the media put them in a negative light? A terrible thing suddenly happens that involves the death of one of the students at the Institute, and the Danger Room going haywire. Now the X-Men must try to stop this madness that is affecting the Danger Room while protecting the students in the process. Alright, this volume had its good points and its bad points, so I will point out the good things about this volume first. As usual with anything done by Joss Whedon, the writing was spectacular, and I loved the way that the plot was shocking from the very beginning to the very end. It was really interesting seeing the Danger Room, the training room that the X-Men have been training in for most of their lives, go haywire, and there were some frightening moments during this ordeal that would strongly remind you of the vampire slaying scenes from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. A dead body's literally resurrected. Yikes. I also love the romantic moments between Colossus and Kitty, being a romance novel fan and always loving the Colossus and Kitty relationship. And it really made me connect to those two, from Colossus trying to get used to being free from the first volume to Kitty trying to sort out her feelings for Colossus. And it was done so brilliantly well. I also love the way that they introduced the Fantastic Four in this volume. I know that Marvel usually have a lot of crossover stories with all the Marvel characters, but here it doesn't seem so forced, and it actually flowed very well with the whole idea about the X-Men trying to be superheroes like the Fantastic Four. John Cassidy's illustrations are just as brilliant in this volume as it was in the first volume, and I love the way that he gives so much detail to each character's features, especially with Colossus' steel skin having sparkles to indicate how shiny his skin is in steel form. Now, here are some things that irked me about this volume, and it's not really much, but it has stayed with me for a while when reading this volume. For one thing, what is up with the character Danger? Danger is the blue female looking being that comes out of the Danger Room and starts fighting the X-Men. And I have often wondered how she would be considered an important threat to the X-Men, since she was never really mentioned or foreshadowed in the first book. Also, she was sort of introduced a bit abruptly to the series, so it was hard for me to really get into her character when there's not much to know about her. There's probably more about her in the next volume, but I don't know. Another problem I have with this volume is that while I love this story to death, I think it could have done better as a standalone story. The reason why I say this is because this volume doesn't really follow up to the Mutant Cure storyline that I really enjoyed in the first volume. And I'm wondering to myself about how the Danger Room plays a role into the big disaster that is about to strike the X-Men that the first volume was introducing. The rating for Astonishing X-Men Dangerous is T+, which means it's aimed at older teens, since there are some frightening scenes and language in this volume. But the language is pretty minimal at best in this volume. However, if you don't like images that make your skin crawl, this volume might be hard to read through. Overall, I give Astonishing X-Men Dangerous a 4 out of 5. Brilliant story, and I love the relationships between all the X-Men, but I had to take off some points because it would have done so much better if it was a standalone story. Well, that's my review on Astonishing X-Men Dangerous, and be sure to check out my next review on the Astonishing X-Men series called Torn.